the conviction I had when it was time to start TDA, even if I explained to an enemy, he would say I should go ahead. The fashion industry can and is standing toe to toe with some major industries that we are used to. People start businesses and think the end goal of a business is money. No, it's not. The end goal of a business is to have something that is bigger than yourself. It's to have something that helps you to buy back your time. Everywhere you find yourself, do your best. Put your best foot forward, because when the time comes for you to answer your call, which people call purpose, everything you have done will come in handy.
You seem like someone who likes challenges.
I like challenges, but since I turned 40, I've been pacing myself.
So welcome to theBLOcounsel today. We have a very, very important guest on our show today, Engineer Dare Aliu. Engineer Dare Aliu has written a very powerful book called Everything Will Be Alright. This is one book we'll be discussing today with him, and even before I introduce him, I'm recommending it already. Engineer Dare Aliu is the founder of TDA Group. He's also the founder of Pink Perfections, the founder of TDA Services, a little bit of TDA Engineering, and he's also a family man, somebody who's very, very committed and someone who is close to God. And today we'll be speaking to him about his journey, what inspired him to write this book, and what the future holds for TDA as a business and for him as an individual. So join me as we welcome Engineer Dare today to the show.
Welcome to theBLOcounsel, where we talk about everything personal development and business development.
Welcome, Engineer Dare Aliu. I'm all smiles, as you can see. Sometimes I feel like you make me short of words, but we'll just dive straight into it, because I know that eventually everything will be all right.
Definitely.
Definitely right. I have a portion of a book that I would like us to, commence with.
Okay. What page?
It's page 298, actually. I remember while I was reading, there was the story of the Uber driver.
Okay.
That you asked about, why he doesn't want to japa.
Yes.
And he said it's because there's money here in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And when you asked him why he said so, this was his response based on your book, and I'm going to read. He said, we had entered Lekki proper by now, and we are about to turn into the TDA street. I will tell you why. See, this street we are about to turn into, well, there's a guy there, they call him TDA. You need to see the kind of building he has on this street. In fact, the guy wants to take over the whole streets with his business. Don't worry, I will show you the buildings. The buildings are even finer than banks, and someone tells me they only sew clothes. He paused for a while. I've been inside the building before. A major sent me to drop off some materials for him. Man, that building is something else. I don't believe it's only clothes they sew in that place. But whatever it is that they do, you only need to step inside to know that there's money in this country. So I'm curious, what exactly happens inside TDA? Because, Abi, so this is my first question for you.
What exactly happens? That's actually a very interesting question that I've actually never been asked that way.
I'm curious, like the Uber driver.
Yeah. So, like the Uber driver, I actually extended an invitation for him to come in and see, because I believe, like our mentor Koshais would say, bomb in seat sells cars. No matter how much you market a car, the moment you put the person behind the driver's seat and let them drive, they will be more interested in selling the cars. I didn't think telling him what happened in the building will do justice to his, but rather he should come in. What we do that people know us mainly for is TDA Couture, which is selling clothes. But beyond selling the clothes, is selling the clothes conveniently. That's, anyone can sell clothes. But what are we doing? We're selling convenience, we're selling speed, without compromising quality when it has to do with clothes. So we keep finding ways to reduce the time that it takes for you to dress up, which is, instead of you thinking of an outfit now and waiting for 2-3 weeks, which was the usual time, now we can get you your clothes in 24, 48 hours. That was our unique selling point. But now we decided to reduce the time to less than 30 minutes by starting TDA Retail. So in TDA Retail, we sell you clothes from head to toe in like 20, 30 minutes. That's what really happens in the building the taxi driver was talking about. But now we have TDA Mall 1, TDA Mall 2, and a TDA Mall 3 in works, but TDA Mall 2 is we sell jewelry, and we have a female brand, that's Femme Fashion, and then we have a tailoring factory. We'd say over 40, 45 tailors, yes. So that's what happens in the TDA buildings he was talking about.
Okay, because I was curious because you know, the guy was saying like maybe
to answer your unasked question.
Okay.
Why did he feel there is money in the country? Because he saw the building.
Yes.
If I were not to be TDA, I will ask the same question really. That, you know, we are used to some businesses being small. It's like meeting a welder. It's like meeting a plumber. You expect that businesses are always small. That's why they call them artisans, right?
Handwork.
Thank you. That's where tailoring was. That has changed in the last, say, about 5 to 10 years now. It's a serious industry. It's not oil and gas, but the fashion industry can stand toe to toe with most industries, like real estate. Someone that is doing real estate might sell a house for $1 billion and his profit on that is 100 million.
Yes.
Say a fashion designer sells 200 million, his profit can be 100 million too. I'm just giving an example. So the volume does not mean the end game, right? I say that to say the fashion industry can and is standing toe to toe with some major industries that we are used to. So he's seeing that same fashion industry, tailoring stuff, being built to look almost like a bank. For him, it's like he's shocked. I would be shocked too if I didn't own TDA. So I understand his question. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Would you say that possibly it's because your own philosophy and thinking around the business of clothing is what is different? Like the regular tailor would say, "Oh, I just want to sew. I'm a tailor."
Yeah.
But then you are looking at it as a business.
Yes.
Maybe that is actually maybe that's the difference.
Absolutely. So, when I'm sitting with my friends and we talk about business, right? I make it a point of duty to say I am not. I don't work for TDA. Like I'm not necessarily in the business. I am on the business in the sense that my job is to to have a business in the first place.
Okay.
My job is to lay down the strategy for the business to not only be, to survive and to thrive. My job is to be the business development head. My job is to be the head of customer service, meaning I'm the first line of call and I'm the last line of call. Now, whatever happens between the first and the last, my job is to put the right people, the right processes, the resources, and everything in between all that engine. So I'm an engineer by nature, right? It came naturally for me to do things a little differently than even what I met. I have friends in the industry. When I started the business, I used to look up to what they were doing, but I knew that there was something missing. You know, did we, to buttress the point, we came in with a unique selling point of speed. Because for me, they taught us basic. When we were in high school, they taught us basic. If it takes 5 people to move this item from here to here in a day, how long will it take if you put 20 people? It's 1/4 of the time, right? So, you know, so division of labor. Basically, I have someone in my factory for everything. I have someone that their job is just to make this. I have someone that their job is just to iron the parts. I have someone that their job is just to cut the top. I have someone so we have divided the activity so much such that we can get it out faster. People can concentrate on their expertise and get it right. Such that, you know, the 10,000 hour theory, which is whatever you do for 10,000 hours, you become a professional at it.
Yes.
You become an expert. So we are creating experts at certain parts and not also being dependent on anybody at any given time. So we build redundancy into that. So doing all this is what will make us be able to do what we do, how we do it.
Interesting. Well, I think you have to start a school of tailoring business
I don't think so. I'll
eventually.
leave that to you.
Okay, so I think because today when we're going to have this conversation, in my mind I was like, I want to talk to Dare, but then after reading your book, I'm like, we can literally talk about you just by exploring your book.
Yes, that's the reason why I wrote the book.
So I'll take you back a little bit to your time, your journey to Russia. I remember in the book you talked about, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. Is it Tambov? What do you pronounce?
Tambov.
Tambov.
Yes, Tambov.
When I read it, and a lot of the things you wrote about, maybe because of the similarities in our high school, I can relate with, a lot of the things there. But I'm curious, when you step your foot into Tambov, what you're doing right now, did you imagine, what was your dream then? I'm curious to know what you were thinking now would have been at that time.
Yeah. You and I have had a sit down before, right? You will realize that when you ask me a question, I'm hearing not just the question, I'm hearing even the things you're not asking me. So I usually deep things beyond the question they ask me. This question is important because it's just not even for me. It's not even just for your audience. It's even for the people that are coming behind us, which is to say, what you are planning for your life might not be where you end up. However, there is a lesson. I'll answer the question. There is a lesson in what I'm about to say, which is everywhere you find yourself, do your best.
Yes.
Put your best foot forward. Because when the time comes for you to answer your call, which people call purpose, everything you have done will come in handy. Now, to answer your question, I became an engineer by happenstance. You read the book, you see what I said about, I was a good student, I was a good science student, but did I really know what I went to? I could have easily been a good doctor, but I found out that I don't really like the sight of blood, so I stayed away from that. I could have been anything, but my eldest brother is an engineer, and I like him as a person. I love him, but I like how his path in life was going. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to be an engineer. I used to look at the parents of my friends that were doing well in life. They were all engineers. I was wrong. Some were finance managers, but I didn't have that information because right now, in retrospect, I should actually be a finance guy. I decided that I wanted to go study engineering. By the time I got to Tambov, was I thinking of my future? No. I was thinking of surviving every day. I was thinking of every day I wake up, doing well in school, getting to finish what we went to do in Tambov very, very well so that I can get into Moscow or St. Petersburg. My immediate goals were not beyond here. What you are asking me is here, is longer. I just wanted to pass school every day. I wanted to feed, I wanted to survive, I wanted to be able to get to year 1, to year 2, because the way the Russian education system is, if you don't pass one test, you don't progress. So my head was not in what I wanted to be, but to even just cross every day. Did I say I was going to be into fashion? No.
So it was just more of, we are looking at it one day at a time.
One day I needed to focus at that time. It wasn't a preset life. It was a life that you were building daily.
I agree. And I think it falls to the people that say, as long as you do your best every single day, it's going to eventually accumulate into that future that you're looking at.
And how you do what you do every day.
It matters too.
Yes. So, yes, how you do what you do, wherever you find yourself, actually matters more than anything else.
Yes. Thank you. So, okay. Then again, I'll be looking at it. I want to go to chapter 12 of your book. Sure. And I think this was when you talked about, you building TDA.
Yeah. I'm actually impressed with you remembering the chapters. Even I've read the book 6-7 times, and I don't think I remember each chapter like that.
Yes. No, I one of the things that people say is that I pay too much attention to detail.
But I like that.
I said, well,
it
is the extra that you put in the ordinary things that make it extraordinary.
I agree, but it's also a characteristic of a leader to pay extra attention to things.
So,
did you mean chapter 14?
Chapter 12. So when you started TDA.
Beginning TDA, yes.
And I remember you talked about you attending a service, a crossover service from 2017 to 2018.
Yes.
And I'm going to read, for the sake of our audience too, what you said the pastor said that stuck with you.
Yes.
You said, and I quote, "You have to have a coach,
Yeah.
a team, and a machine. You have to have people that can move the ministry forward.
Yes.
You have to be relevant.
Yes.
What you do has to bring relief to people."
Yeah.
And so this is just the end of the quote. So for me, what exactly in that quote struck you? What exactly in that quote changed your trajectory on that day?
Every single word. Look, I've started writing my next book.
Okay.
But I'm not going to write that and release it in the next 10 years because I need to have a certain amount of success and money for me to release that kind of book. So it's going to be called my Nigerian Success Template. So I didn't know what it is already, but because I've not achieved some personal goals, I can't release that kind of book. And I can only know that because of the experiences that I've had.
Yes.
Success, definition of success is different for everyone. Success for me is freedom, which is what makes me happy, which is what gets me going. But people start businesses and think the end goal of a business is money. No, it's not. The end goal of a business is to have something that is bigger than yourself. It's to have something that helps you to buy back your time. So for me, I'll say I was already always a business person. But as long as you are willing to learn,
Yes.
there will always be new information available to you. So the day this pastor said these things, what was happening is, if you've ever seen a movie before where CIA or FBI is plotting things and I say, oh, this matches this, it was connecting some dots in my head. I started thinking of this business, like I started helping people to, like, referring them to my old tailor and everything. But when he was saying some of these things, he started to connect the dots. Why is that tailor not scaling? Why can't he meet up? He doesn't have a machinery. He doesn't have people that can move the ministry forward.
That makes sense.
What he's doing is actually bringing relief to people, but it's not relevant in the sector because he's not doing it at a particular scale. What does it take to do it at a particular scale? To do it in a particular way. To have a unique selling point. So these things were relatable, and it was almost like sparks. When sparks are going off in your head.
Interesting.
Every word in those lines makes sense to me, and it was like a booster. I needed it at that minute.
So you think, and the way you said it, because I've had those type of moments personally too, where somebody says something. It's like when people say, words are a way to see. Somebody will say something and then you say, I can see.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. That was why I was curious to see what you actually saw.
That's actually what it did to me. I saw them like, oh my God, I didn't see it this way, but now I live by this. I was in church yesterday and I ran into one of the best gospel artists that I've ever listened to in my life, Sumi Agbebi, something like that. Sumi Sola. And she was telling me, she saw me with the TDA cap and she was like, our husband was like, I know this brand that they helped me. I don't like using the word saved, but they saved the day. They just had a baby. They're gonna do church, where they take the baby to church, right? And they didn't have the clothes ready because they had just come back to the country. And they reached out to people and people said, go to TDA. And we're able to get stuff for them in 24 hours. That is relief. They didn't need to know me. They didn't know me before, but that was a relief, right? Why are we relevant in industry? Because of that unique selling point. Am I doing all that alone? No. I have an amazing team. I have a team that if we took over a bank today, we will run it very, very well. That's the machinery, So
maybe at some point you guys will do 10 minutes. I think we've had this conversation somewhere where you said that's the goal at some point.
So that's going to take a lot of money. I know how to do that, but am I ready for that challenge yet? We'll see. But it's going to require a lot of money.
You seem like someone who likes challenges.
I like challenges, but since I turned 40, I've been pacing myself. But yeah, I believe it will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I strongly believe so too.
I believe it will.
Okay. So, Mr. Dare, again, you talked about risking it all.
Yeah.
I think this was chapter 13 of your book.
I'm
One part
still
of
impressed with how you remember every chapter. This is wow.
yeah, we take notes too of everything here and there.
Yeah.
So, but you spoke about having to discuss your move with your wife,
Yes.
which is when you wanted to quit your job and all that. And for for those that are married or have relationships, really, that's why I'm talking about this one. What if she has said no to your dream? What did you think about that? Maybe she has said, oh, but you just setting that she's going to ride with me no matter what.
That's actually interesting. I could have just said we will never know, but let me think about it.
Yes.
So they usually say if you can't explain what you're saying to a 5-year-old and 5-year-old to understand, then that means you don't understand that topic so well. The conviction I had when it was time to start TDA, even if I explained to an enemy, he would say I should go ahead. That's how convinced I was. I understood the details so well that I could break it down. I could almost turn it into a painting. That it would have been difficult. In fact, it would have been a mountain for her to have told me not to go ahead, seeing as I was barely sleeping just because of this dream.
Okay.
It was the drive was too much. That sometimes when you are convinced enough that you don't. If she had told me no, I mean, I probably would have just kept painting the picture, selling the dream to her. I think I would have gone ahead, to be honest. But it's important to carry your spouse along. No,
yes,
but it's important because it affects her. Now, yes, we are enjoying the success and everything, but what if it had gone wrong? It will affect her, and a happy wife, a happy life. So obviously, I needed her on board. But what I also did to make it easy, which is what I think we're not talking about, she was always in the business.
Okay.
In the business, not that she's in TDA Couture, but with everything. In fact, we started her business before mine. We started Pink Perfection Accessories before I started TDA Couture. There's something that I usually do. Before I travel, I try to make her travel. Before I buy myself a car, I buy a car. Before I buy myself a watch, I buy a watch. Do you understand? Like, I do these things because it works. The formula works. Put her first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I was just curious because I'm like, sometimes we can look in hindsight and be like, hey, what if this person didn't,
I would have just kept pushing.
Well, like you said, I think you had actually prepared yourself for that time.
Yes.
By carrying her along properly along the way.
And letting her see the pros, the cons, the possibilities, what can be and what might not be,
Absolutely.
But I was convinced. God has been involved. She's been supportive. Now I've almost started talking about my next book. With everything I'm saying. There's just some things that I believe you follow almost always, certainly will make a business successful. The God factor, that God factor also has to do with your family because, a happy wife, a happy family, and some other things which I'll talk about in my next book. But I was always going to carry along. Yeah.
We're already looking forward to the next book from now then.
Yeah.
So, a little bit into the future. You spoke about TDA fabrics.
Yes.
I think what caught me from your book when you talked about TDA fabrics is the vision around it.
Yes.
So I'm curious if you can paint that picture, because I know you said something about wanting to make men's fabric available for Nigerians and Africans at large.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned things about issues with fabric in the business and things like that. So, what's that dream like for you? When TDA Fabrics gets into full throttle, what should we be expecting?
So it's actually a scary dream that even sitting before you here, I won't lie to you, it still seems unattainable. But am I letting go of the dream? No. Some businesses are already, so if you go into my office today, you probably see over 2,000 fabrics now. So TDA Fabrics has already started. And it's doing well. However, there are other big businesses, like I mentioned their names, SAS, Kobis,
Okay.
Maitangaran in Kano. They are doing very well. These are people that have invested billions into fabric business, and they're doing very well, you know. But just like when I came into the tailoring, I can see some things that can be done in a different way. I don't like using the word better.
Okay.
They can be done in a different way. It requires a lot of capital, but it can be done slightly differently. And that's where I'm hoping to come in. Now, like I said, that since I turned 40, I've been pacing myself. This 40 I'm talking about is just 4 years ago. So I guess I'm just giving myself a few months to not. I've been under pressure all my life. And after I clocked 40, I just felt, you know what, just not take a break, not slow down, but just chill a little bit. So I've not taken up any new challenge per se, even though I'm building, but I've not taken any new challenge that is scary to me in the last 4 months, right? But this fabric thing, if I do it properly, the way I plan to do it, it can almost swallow TDA Couture as it is, because it won't be able to compete, because it's a service business, it's a buying and selling business. The trade is intense. If I bring in the containers that I want to bring in on the scale I want to bring it in, the plan is to crash the market, crash the price. Fabrics can be cheaper. The reason why we are buying fabrics at the price where we're buying it is because of the number of people that are doing it.
Okay.
There are not as many as should be. You might think a lot of people are selling fabrics, but don't forget, we're almost 200 million people. Say only 100 million people really buy clothes. Only 70 million people really buy this grade of materials.
Fabrics.
But do you know what it takes to clothe 70 million people? It's a lot of work. And now I've traveled all over the place. I know where to get what. So the capital, the buildings, the strategy to market. Let me just give you an example.
Okay.
I know where to go in Turkey to get a certain level of fabric, say $20 a yard, right? Now, if I bring in that fabric in the quantity I bring it, it's going to land here, say $22 a yard, right? But if I bring it in, if I'm buying from those guys this much, it can bring it down to $13. Now, if I bring it in on this level, I can go to customs and maybe even negotiate for it to be cheaper. Now, if I bring it on this level and it lands me at say $14, $15, and I sell it to you at $18, which is what the original cost price now is, and I introduce it to you as a staple, which is, I think you should go away from these $5 fabrics. It does not, it's now beneath the level you have gotten to. But what I will do for you is this: I will give you the fabrics. You don't have to pay me immediately, because now don't forget, the part of the strategy is having capital and having bank.
Yes.
I will sew these fabrics for you ahead. You can pay monthly. You can put us into your money. I'm just giving you something that's come to my head. It's not part of the plan. You can pay monthly, you can pay structured payment type thing, but you will look your best. Now, what have I done? You're a working mannequin for me. Because the more clothes I have on your back, the more people see, the more people want to come. As those people are coming, because I have bank and I have the fabrics, I can have that coming. Now, imagine you paying me, say, 250,000 every month consistently, and I have 100 of you. That's guaranteed cash flow.
Well, that's what businesses need.
Yes, cash flow is more important than revenue. It's a policy in my business. I'm more concerned about cash flow than revenue.
I agree with you.
So things like that is how, like now, TDA Mall 3, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a TDA fabric village, which is, I want even other designers to start having a reason, instead of us always flying, coming to look at that place and saying, these are the fabrics I want to go and buy abroad. But it only makes sense if I do it at scale. And the scale at which I want to do is such that even for them, it makes sense to buy it here rather than flying. And with that, trust me, it's a different ball game. It's going to happen, like I said.
Does producing the fabric here, does it make a difference?
That now requires us getting in bed with government.
Okay.
Energy cost, first and foremost. If we had no energy cost, fabric would be cheaper here than anywhere else. We have the manpower, we have the knowledge, we have the market is there, the willpower is there. The only thing we don't have is the infrastructure. The energy cost alone will make fabric unattractive to be bought here. The raw materials would also still have to be imported. I don't think we have enough cotton in country we are not farming enough cotton in country to be able to start
That way, you
producing.
still have to import something.
It's just like wheat. Yeah, we when I used to work, on we cultivate wheat here, but we still have to import a lot because we don't have enough. We are many. My brother, Nigerians.
Yeah.
The only reason why a lot of businesses are standing is our share numbers. Not just our share numbers, it's also even the lack of proper infrastructure. So if you are in business and you're selling convenience, trust me, it's a win, because people, there's already
always
so
need
much
for that.
Yeah,
The
there's
need
already
is so
so
high.
much inconvenience in the system that people, any little convenient service, they're willing to pay for it. So it can happen. Now then we have to get in bed with government. We have to do this, we have to do that. But
sounds like it's longer process really.
It's longer process, and the moment you have to do, from my experience, the moment you are willing to deal with government, make sure your cash flow, your bread and butter is not tied to that. So it's going to be a secondary activity. People that I know that have tied their primary activity to where government policy is going, at the end of the day, sometimes they come back and they say that their barns are empty. So make sure that your barn and your engine is rotating daily.
Absolutely.
So the going to government to try and affect policy or help create policies or try to influence the direction of a particular sector, make it a secondary activity. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, eventually, I see myself and a few industry big men, I call them my ogas, like Vodi, Africana, and all these guys, coming together and approaching government and saying, how about we start to manufacture fabrics here? But to do that, we need a lot of concessions. We need solar farms. We need maybe gas, cheaper gas. We need. I know how to get this done. Am I ready for that particular journey yet? Now, maybe no, because I want to get the primary source jumping.
Yeah.
I want to get that to a certain level before I now start carrying my bag and running to Abuja. So I'm working assiduously on level 1, which is where I am. No matter TDA is not on the level where I want it to be yet.
Absolutely.
Like more 3, the fabric business. Maybe if I had those businesses up and running, then I can
double into that.
But if government came today and called a few of us, and I'm part of everybody will call, it's like this. I know what it is that we need to do to get the textile industry to where it should be.
Interesting. So all these things that you're doing, Engineer, do you see yourself maybe handing over TDA maybe to somebody as a CEO at some point and you leaning back? Do you see yourself? Because I can see it's
happening already. It's happening already. I don't think I've spent too long in the country in the last 2-3 years because we have an amazing team. But what am I doing abroad, apart from resting, is that I'm actually walking into stores abroad. I'm researching, I'm learning. I'm seeing what it is that they are doing. I'm speaking to the back enders, to the people that are, so I meet people that do designs for Zara. I meet people that are in procurement department of Zara. I travel to some places where we go to buy these fabrics from and sit down with them, have coffee with them. Tell me, how did this your own business start? So I'm no longer just the peripheral of in the front end of business. I'm now going to the back end of other people's businesses to learn. So that when I come, so that decisions that I make that are not just from what I know or what I see here is because of things that I've heard or I've seen, I've learned outside. I'm definitely ready to hand over the business even now to a competent MD and CEO. But will I ever take a back seat? I don't think so. TDA, I live, breathe, eat, sleep TDA. I love what I do. So even on Sundays, there's no day of the year. As long as I'm in this country, I'll stop at the mall. Christmas Day, New Year Day, I'm there. I'm there. Sometimes I'm just there to just walk around and shudder, just to check that the air is smelling good in there. I walk around to check the air, is it flowing well? Do you understand?
That's nurturing. You're nurturing your business.
Yes, but while I'm there, I pick some things that I used to type to my to the management team. I have a fantastic team. My team, I was away for a month, they did an amazing job. That I'm stress testing the system. I'm checking, can they handle
Can they handle it if you're not there?
And it's happening. Yes, will I like to bring in an MD? Yes, I haven't found someone. Because then again, don't forget, this is still a very unusual sector. If I go and, ideally for me, I would love to get someone that has worked in the bank or someone that worked in FMCG, right? To come in and run the company. But an average person that work in FMCG will be like, we like to work in a fashion place. They don't see it yet. I see it.
That person has to buy into the vision, really.
Thank you. So eventually, I'll be very happy to.
Okay, great. So let's talk about. I know you said you're looking at TDA Ghana.
Looking at?
Or is it there
TDA
now?
Ghana has been running for the past 7 months. It's doing very well.
Oh wow!
TDA Ghana is on Jungle Street in East Legon. They're doing very well.
Oh, and I know there's TDA in Tanzania
too. They're doing fine. Ghana is doing better, to be honest. Abuja is doing okay. So the business is still very front-facing. Nigerians still largely have the culture of patronizing who they know, no matter how good you are at what you do. Yes, say 70% based on the fact that they know you, 30% because you are good at what you do. So a lot of times, and I don't like to, how do I put it? I like to build businesses that are running autonomous, right?
Okay.
So the businesses are doing fine. I would say Lagos top, Ghana next, Abuja after that, then Tanzania in order of ranking of how they are doing. But obviously Lagos is doing
number one.
100 times better than those other branches, yes.
But how has doing business in other countries compared to Nigeria? What type of challenges or pros, let me put it that way, have you faced? If you compare Ghana and Tanzania to Nigeria, especially for those that are looking at expanding outside Nigeria too.
So if you want to do business outside this country, I advise you to partner with people. Maybe not in the direct sense of the word partnership, but bring on board people that buy into the dream, even if it's just 10%. In hindsight, I should have been running a franchise system. A franchise system actually work better, which is you find someone that is good at it and franchise it. It's such that it's your brand name, it's your concept, it's your strategy, it's your resources, and you probably just own 30% of it. But as it is, I still own majority of all those businesses outside the country. But I have people in those countries that are helping me run day to day that have skin in the game. Do you get what I'm saying? So you can't run everything on your own. I studied the banks. So if you go study Axis Bank, study some other oil and gas companies, the company I look up to most that has perfected is Sahara Energy.
Okay.
They've done it so well.
That's in terms of scaling. In terms of scaling into other countries.
But yeah, I mean, I believe in the franchise system now. But when I started, for me, it's seeking out people who buy into the dream, who are serious also, that can run the business. Just the way I would run it. But then I visit often. Don't forget the resources, the strategies, the supply chain, or if everything is still coming from here.
You get what I'm saying? Supply chain.
So we are the ones that know where to get what, at what price, and all that. So we can get it directly to Ghana, get it directly to Abuja, but we are the ones that still largely, so that you're not mixing what is going into the final product.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. The TDA hats, say they come from a place in China called Dongguan. I would not allow TDA Ghana to bring hats in from Fushan or to bring hats in from, say, Yiwu. No, they must come from Dongguan.
Yes.
So even if they are to order directly, but they must come from that factory because we've tested, we've trusted our source. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
okay, that makes sense. So, and just to tie that in, because I remember I also read in your book that your head of sales had to move to Tanzania.
No head of sales. So my
the first hire.
Yes.
01.
Yes. And
what was that process like?
It was easy.
Getting him to move.
It was easy. Don't also forget, because of the the way our strata is, our economic strata is here, most of the guys that tailor, which we're hoping to change.
Yeah.
My dream is to have all my tailors having cars, that kind of thing. But don't forget that most of these guys, they are not yet on that ladder. They are not yet there, and put it that way. So offering him to travel out of the country is a win for him and his family. Getting him a passport, getting him a visa, getting him out of this country to some of these countries have better infrastructures or better standard of living than we do. Some of them. So getting them there is for them is a win. Like we say, win is a win.
A win is a win.
My 004 is in Ghana now.
Okay.
He's happy. He's doing good. Offered him to come back home he's okay. He would rather just chill. He's chilling. And don't forget all those places where they go. They have their own houses, their own apartments, they have their own lives. Things that when they're here they have to share. Because we obviously have more staff here.
Life is more convenient.
Yeah, more convenient
for them there.
They are happy. They are good. They are getting paid in the currencies over there. To them is FX.
Or possibly, I know there's a part in your book also where I read you saying you like to see the God in every person.
Yeah, the divinity. Yeah.
The divinity in every person.
There is a God in everyone, and that's why you don't hold anybody's wages. You don't delay anybody's wages. I'd rather not eat than owe my staff as many as we are. We're almost 100 or even a little bit more. Salaries must be paid on time. People's, whether it's wages, commission, extra allowances, or whatever, must be paid as at the time. In fact, that's the pride for us. Whatever day we agree that you're going to get paid, you must get paid on that day. Must not shift, must not move one day. Because even the Bible says that you should pay a man his wages before his sweat dries. I believe in that. I'm
with you on that, absolutely. And just on a lighter note, as we wrap up, because I know your book is packed. We can talk about it for hours and hours and hours. But I know there was a picture gallery where there's a lot of pictures, and I would like to thank you for taking, I don't know if I'll call it courage or
yes, courage,
but because it takes a lot to put all of the information that you've put out there.
Yeah.
But I think it's very, very important, because anybody who really takes their time, especially somebody who is trying to achieve something, there's so much that they can gain. Yeah. There's a part where the picture you took in Russia when you said you work as a mascot.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just a lighter note. What was that like? It was just funny when I saw the picture.
So there used to be this, and I'm still wondering why nobody has started that business in this country. There's this business in Russia where once every year they bring gamers into the building, like game heads, people that play games a lot, and they bring them into the building to come and play against them, to come and play against each other. And you see people playing games and going from level to level. Maybe they can start these games like 2,000 people playing against themselves. Before you know it's 1,000, before you know it's 500, before you know it's the last two. And the winner will go with like $100,000.
Wow.
Do you get that kind of thing? So it used to be a big deal in Moscow. Big arenas and all that. And they used to hire some of us to come and dress like some of those game characters. And we're just there for the entertainment, really. That wasn't the worst of it all. There was a time we used to be packed up in a room, and we used to run this call center where we used to sell medications, to people over the phone. It was funny, but that was a very degrading job, because half the time
you call them,
you call them because you have the information that they have bought those products before.
Oh,
so you call them, they give you the information, they give you the talking points, and we'll call. Hello, my name is so and so. I'm selling these products. People slam phones on you. Will tell you to get the hell out of here, and you are hearing this every day. It eats away at your confidence. So we did all sort of that, but that's part of the story.
It's part of the story.
Let me answer a question that you've not asked me. Why did I write this book?
Well, I was coming there, but go ahead.
Yeah. Just to answer, a part of the reason is to embarrass my kids, but let me say it in a more appropriate way. So I wrote this book for 4 reasons, really. For my kids. My kids are growing up more privileged than the way I grew up, right? And I need them at some point to pick this book, read it, and understand that there's a lot of sacrifice that has gone into what they're enjoying today. I don't want my kids to grow up feeling entitled to anything. I don't want my kids to ever grow up be one of those kids that bully other kids or laugh at other kids because they have more than the other kids. I want, if any of my child ever does that, I want their friend to pick this book up and laugh at them. Say, see where your father came from. You have no right to be.
Absolutely.
My biggest fear is raising spoiled, entitled kids. So part of why I wrote this book is, before I forget, let that story be in their hands. Secondly, is for people that are growing up like the way I grew up. People like Bosun, who I addressed the book to, saying, keep at it, everything will be all right. I wrote this book also for people like you. Why did I have to write a book for someone like you? It's not so that I'll teach you anything. You're a successful person in your own right.
We're still learning.
Yeah. But when I moved back to Nigeria, even before I moved back to Nigeria, there were instances where grace was not extended the way I thought it should be extended to me, the way I will extend grace to people. But you know, they always say the humility of a poor man or whatever, the poor man. So maybe they thought I used to extend grace because I didn't have enough. But no, I still extend grace till today. I wrote this book to tell my friends, my colleagues, people that are on our level, please extend grace to others. Be kind to people. You don't know what the next person. It could just be your hello to that cleaner that uplifts his day. It could just be that handshake to one of you. It could just be the hug to that guy or that person that will make the difference for them. Just extend grace to people. You don't know what people are going through. And fourth, like you said, chapter 12 or so, I spoke about the beginning of TDA, and 13 and 14, I spoke about the future of TDA. For me, it's also a business plan, a serial business plan, in the sense that if you read my book and I ever come to you that do you want to invest in TDA, the only thing I ever have to show you is my numbers. I just have to show you my business numbers for the past 6, 7 years. TDA is 7 years now. Yeah, I mean, I just have to show you the numbers, and I think it will make sense, and you can decide whether you want to invest or not. That's why I wrote this book, and I'm glad that I wrote it.
That's anyway. You answered it. Even you answered the question that I was going to ask next too, which is a good part of it. For me also, and just to add to some of the things that you said, I think it's an inspirational book. I've read it, and I would advise everybody who is listening to us right now to grab a copy and go and, because for me, aside from the inspiration, there's the educational part of it, and more importantly, the belief that no matter your circumstance, no matter what challenge you think you're facing, it is not everybody that you see that is doing well today that had it rosy. As a matter of fact, many people didn't even have it rosy. That's the funny part of it.
Yeah.
But like Engineer Daria said, everything will be all right, for sure. So as we close out, do you have any, I know you talked about, your kids, you're writing a book for your kids, but of course, for the Bosuns that are out there, for the young entrepreneurs that are out there, do you have like any final, what would you, yes, they will pick up your book and read, but is there something else that you think maybe you didn't talk about? Or maybe something you've learned after the book came out?
So what I've learned after the book came out is my next book, right? Which is I'm beginning to understand what it takes to do business in Nigeria. Am I willing to do everything? No.
Okay.
But I understand the business terrain a little bit more. The God factor, you can't take it away. The location of your business matters. The passion for your business matters. Having a unique selling point for your business matters. Affordability of your business matters. Is your business poly product or mono product? Things like that. These are the things that are going to go into my next book. Also, it's important for people to define what success means for them. Success for my good friend Mr. Tunde is not going to be the definition of success for me. So sometimes success for people is big jeep or number of houses you have. For me, is nothing of such. For me, it's freedom. For me, it's being able to talk to who I choose to talk to when I choose to be able to wake up and sleep when my body requires, to be able to be where I choose to be when I choose to be there, doing what I choose to do. That's what success means to me. So you can be 100 times wealthier than I am, but do you have that freedom? If you don't, I can't look up to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But what I would say to anyone, whether you read the book or not, is this part of the book just before the chapter 1 begins. It's very short, so I'm just going to read it.
Yes, please.
I say that I pray for grace from God and from people for you. I say that lest I forget, God promised to fill our cups. The only thing the Bible didn't mention is the size of the cup. So whatever size you present, He will fill. Make yours big. Stay productive, grow to your full potential, preserve your happiness, and achieve the extraordinary. All the best.
Wow. And I think we can actually wrap it up there. Engineer Dare, it's been an amazing time. I know that, like I said earlier when we started, for me, it's the honor that you give to me, and I appreciate. I'm sure many people who are going to watch this. I remember our first conversation. A number of people. I think I saw one of our friends at the airport. I won't mention his name here, and he was like, "I saw Dario," and I'm like, "Oh, well, we get to do that from time to time because Engineer Dario has been able to honor me for that. So I thank you so much."
You're welcome, my very good brother. Before you end, I get called to speak sometimes or to come for interviews, maybe even TV or radio, but I don't do it. I don't do it simply because I don't think it's time yet. You have to know the time for everything. I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I've achieved the things I want to achieve to be talking. I feel like talking right now will be
it'll be premature.
It'll be premature. But I believe in you. I believe in your platform. I'm invested in your platform, invested in what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's easier for me speaking to my mate, to my friend. This feels like this is not a podcast. If it was a podcast, I wouldn't come. This feels to me like a diary that I'm just having a conversation with my friend. That's why, I'm besides that, you're a good man too. So
thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I hope the viewers, if Engineer Dare says it, I'm sure they know what to think. So before we wrap up, we usually, there's a little final ritual that we have. I have a book here that I call the Book of Advice.
Okay.
So the last guest that was here wrote an advice for you.
Okay.
So and you are going to write an advice for the next person too. So the last person was Mr. Oluseyi Magic, and he wrote to you that you should always speak from your heart. And I believe that you've spoken from your heart today. So please do us the honors. Nobody will see it until the next guest hears it too.
Okay.
So you can write
Mine is going to come exactly from the things that I said last.
Which is okay.
Just 2 lines. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much,
welcome.
Dare. And we've come to the end of our conversation today with the founder of TDA Group, TDA Couture, Pink Perfections, TDA Services. We should have talked about TDA Investments, but I know in the future we'll still get to talk more about that.
So yeah, TDA Group. There's TDA Couture, there's TDA Retail, there's TDA Leather, TDA Cobbler, TDA Fabrics, which is almost top in it. Pink Perfection Accessories, That Femme Fashion, which is the female brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to when the new TDA building will be there for us so that we can come to the commercial bank on the first floor.
Yes, it's going to happen from your mouth to God there.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to us today.
Thank you.
And I wish you all joy and greatness as usual. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.